Okay.
And if you could do a shout out and a postcard.
The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Leslie would really like another note from you. She really needs it.
Okay.
So we're recording. You feel free to talk to Leslie or the child. I forget. I don't know how to refer him since I don't know his name. But whoever you want to talk to, the recorder's going.
All right. I got a letter last night in the mail, and it made me cry, and it was such a blessing. But I can't answer it because the boy did not put a return address. Here's all I know. It's Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And his name is Tim, but he's 14, so he's not going to be in the phone book. But last name might be Bukowski. Bukowski. There's a lot of Polish people in Milwaukee, so maybe there's 500 of them also, and maybe it's not searchable. But if anybody can find where 14-year-old Tim Bukowski lives, let me read his letter and respond publicly as a open letter to Tim. Let's see, January 16th it's dated. Dear Kent, happy belated birthday. I hope this is your last birthday in your current circumstances, and I'll interject my responses as we go here. Tim, thank you. I agree, and thank you for the happy birthday wish, and I am so ready for this to be my last one. That was number 9 in prison for me. Okay, continuing. Tim says, even though I am still young, 14, I am getting out the information about your case, which I do not fully understand, just like you. Okay, well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. I don't understand what I did either to come to prison, and neither did half the people in the Bible. Like, what on earth did Daniel do wrong that he got taken off to captivity and neutered and made a eunuch for 70 years? Well, what did he do wrong? What did Job do wrong? You know, nothing. So this just happens to people. And, Tim, it may happen to you someday. Something really, really bad may happen. And you got to just say, God, I don't like it, I don't understand it, but I trust you and I love you and I'm going to serve you no matter what. That's all you can do sometimes. You know, a lot of the Bible's written from prison or captivity or by people who experienced one of those, and God will use it. And we're not going to get out of this earth alive anyway, so it doesn't matter what happens down here. It's all a game. We're on the playing field, and the spectators are watching us. Hebrews 12, we're compassed about with a great cloud of witnesses. We're on the field. We're going to get attacked and knocked down, and the referees are crooked. And okay, this is all just a game. We're going to leave here and join that crowd and in the stands one day. So don't worry about it. Let me continue. Tim's letters. From the people I've shown your case to, including people knowledgeable in law, they all agree with you in the absurdity of your case. So in that respect, you are gaining many supporters here in Milwaukee. Well, good. Thank you, brother. My goal is not to gain a bunch of supporters. My goal is to get the gospel out to the whole world. And Paul said in Philippians 1 that his going to prison had caused the gospel to go to places it would not have gone otherwise, even in the Caesar's household. So I really think my case is going to do the same thing, as much as I don't like being here and I want to go home today, and I think the whole thing is stupid. I think the government broke a bunch of laws, and I think they need to be prosecuted. Okay, but in spite of all that, God has used this in a million good ways.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
It is amazing. So tell the folks in Milwaukee, thank you. I've only preached up there a couple of times. I'd love to come back. I understand you still have a few heathen up there, so save me a couple of them. I'll come up there and get them converted. Let me continue with his letter. I am a biblical creationist, and when I was searching for good creationist arguments, I found your seminars on YouTube. The first exposure to your ministry was your talk, 100 Reasons Why Evolution is Stupid, which, by the way, is your most watched video in circulation. Well, thank you, Tim. I did not know that, but that is good. I could probably give 100 more reasons why evolution is stupid, and it is just plain stupid. There's no kind way to say that, and I'm not trying to be kind about it. I'm trying to be honest, and it is a stupid. And if that's somebody's religion that's listening to this, use your head, man. Wake up. You didn't come from a rock. Okay, back to Tim's letter. He said, through your ministry, your son's ministry, and the ministries of Answers in Genesis and Creation.com, I have gotten a logical and factual basis for my beliefs. So I definitely thank you for all you have done. All right, well, thank you, Tim. Now, all I have to ask from you is that you pass it on to somebody else. Tim, when I got married, before I got married, my dad was just a fabulous dad. He taught us 3 boys everything. I know how to build houses, electrical, plumbing, heating. I can do concrete. I can weld. My dad, he taught me just about everything, fixing cars, mechanic work, everything. When I got married, I'm getting ready to go off on my honeymoon. My dad comes, leans in the window of the Toyota, and I said, Dad, you have been an amazing dad. How can I repay you? He said, well, son, there is one thing I want. I said, you name it. He said, do the same for your boys. I said, you got it. And so all I asked him is that you take what you've learned from me and pass it on to 5,000 other people. Okay, let me continue Tim's letter here. You have inspired me to want to do the same thing for the rest of my life. Well, Tim, thank you. I hope you do. I was getting, when I came to prison, 50 phone calls or letters or emails every week asking me to come speak. I very, very reluctantly and brokenheartedly had to make a rough decision that I can't take them all. I'm going to have to pick and choose. And there's no way for people to understand the turmoil I went through on that. But I told my son and I sat down, and I said, look, son, I'm going to have to select only churches of, say, 500 or more. I'll go to the bigger churches, you go to the smaller ones, and we inspired about 80 other people to start similar ministries, and we had a list of names we'd give out, and then there's always somebody that says, oh, our church only has 100, you're too good to come to my church, huh? And it's not that at all. I mean, if I get 50 calls a week, and I'm trying to win the whole world, I have to look at the simple mathematics and say, reaching 500 or 2,000 in 1 week is going to go faster than reaching 100 in every week. I go to all kinds of churches. I've been to church. My first church, my full-time ministry, there were 38 people in Union Center, South Dakota. And you can't get there from anywhere. You got to start there and work your way out. I mean, this is... So it's not that. I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for any ego or pride trip. It's just simple mathematics. I said, Lord, I'm going to have to go to larger groups. And so I hope I inspire you and a million others, Tim.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Please call back. I have
Okay.
when you run out.
Tim said, my favorite seminar of yours was seminar number 5, The Dangers of Evolution. Let me call right back and discuss that one in particular, because that is why I'm sitting in prison. Call right back.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Got another interview with Dan Badandi for him.
Oh good.
If I don't get a word in edgewise, it's 11:15 on Monday, Central Standard Time.
Do you have the he has a phone number?
This is a Global Tel-Link prepaid call from
This coming Monday?
an inmate at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. Your advance pay account has a low balance. To place more funds, please call 1-800-483-8314. This call will be recorded and monitored. Your advance pay account balance is $8.74. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To hear the cost of this call, press 8 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. Decline this call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
All right, thank you, brother. Back to Tim's letter. He said, my favorite seminar of yours was seminar number 5, The Dangers of Evolution. Tim, in my video seminar, which is 18 hours long, video number 5 talks about this theory of evolution. This actually is a religion. Is dangerous for several reasons. It's anti-scientific, but in there I cover how it is the foundation philosophy behind communism, Nazism, socialism, Marxism, all kinds of isms on the planet, governments that really are based on the idea that man owns and controls the world and we make the rules. The founders of our country gave us what's called a constitutional republic, which is where we are based on rules that are unchangeable, inflexible. God made the rules, you know. God said don't murder. Oh, okay. Well, then we will try to follow God's laws that don't murder. Whereas under a democracy, which is an evil form of government, in a democracy, the majority makes the rules. And 51% could vote to kill the 49%. Democracies are bad, wicked, evil, and I go on record publicly as opposing them. They never have lasted, okay? America is not, or maybe it is now, but it wasn't designed to be a democracy. And this is not anything to do with the Democrat or Republican Party today. This is a philosophy, a system of government. We are supposed to be a constitutional republic where the law is supreme and everybody obeys the law, including the government. Now, with that said, I said that in my seminar very clearly, and I say it again and still believe it today. Okay, so the law is supreme, and our law was supposed to be based upon God's law, the Ten Commandments and other commandments given by God. All right, so in my seminar, I point out very clearly that this evolution teaching is the foundation for these bad philosophies of government. When the IRS agents came and raided our ministry and kicked everybody off the property, they said Scott Schneider was leading a group into building, we called it building number 1, is where my son, Ken Andrew, now lives, but it was at the time where we did all of our video duplication and video editing and stuff like that. It was an office building. Scott Schneider said, I want you to specifically get every copy you can find of video number 5. They took the masters, they took all the copies, they cleaned out the whole ministry of all the copies of video number 5, Dangers of Evolution. Now, it just so happened that we had another one at another location, and we were able to get right back in production with video number 5. But that is the one they specifically went after and hated, because if a person wants to, like Pinky and the Brain, take over and rule the world, they can't have people believing that they have rights that come from the Creator. The founders of this country said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by their Creator with certain rights. You have the right to drive a car. Okay, why? Who gave you that? Does that come from the government or does that come from God? You have the right to get married. You have the right to do anything. You have the right to breathe. Where do rights come from? This is the foundation issue. And that's why I am a danger. I'm the most dangerous man on earth to some of these guys who want a communist system of government or something other than a constitutional republic. So there's the problem, and I'm glad you like number 5. If you're going to preach that message, Tim, get ready to be attacked. They will hate you. Okay, let me continue Tim's letter. I'm almost done here, brother.
Okay.
He says, and I quote, your info about how I can get through to the school system is very useful. I don't know all the information yet, but over the past 5 to 6 months, I've been eating up all the information I can take in about the subject. Tim, good, thank you. Trust me, you will never learn it all. Don't worry about it. And you don't need to learn it all. Don't wait till you know it all to start teaching it. You're 14 now, Tim. There are some 10-year-olds that you can go talk to today. You don't need to go get a PhD or learn anything else. You have people you can reach right now. Now, the longer you live and the more you learn and the more you grow, the bigger that circle of influence will grow. Right now, you probably cannot talk to any college professors and win them to Christ and debate them on this topic. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of them, okay? You reach the ones you can reach, and you have a circle of friends right now that you can reach. Go get them. As you learn and grow, that circle grows bigger. That's the way it is. So go get them. Keep eating up into. I am still learning stuff. I love this topic and study it every day. Okay, well, let's see, 2 more sentences. Tim says, my question, advice I am asking for you is this. What is it that you think allows you to be such a good debater? End quote. Well, let's see. First, I don't know that I'm a good debater. I think it's real simple. I told one atheist I was debating one time. I said to the audience, I said, folks, this guy who I'm talking to here is a lot smarter than I am. But I'm winning this debate, and that's quite obvious to everybody because I'm right and he's wrong. It has nothing to do with being smart or dumb. It has to be with being on the right side. So first you got to make sure you're teaching the truth, and then the rest is easy after that. So learn the truth. Now, in Psalm 119, 165, the Bible says, great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. One of the simple secrets to the Christian life is to stay in love with the Bible. Read it, study it, meditate on it. And a guy who really soaks his brain in the Bible, it's hard to get him offended. I was at Okaloosa Walton Junior College, not too far from where I'm seated right now. I did a debate with a professor there in front of a couple of classes. This was many years ago, early in my ministry, 20-some years ago. And he was so angry. Boy, he was mad. And I said, sir, it's quite obvious you're upset about this. I said, if this was really a scientific discussion, you wouldn't have to get so angry. You could calmly talk about it. I said to the students, I said, it's obvious this is a religious discussion. I'm attacking his religion. He believes in evolution. And he's reacting like a religious zealot would react when you attack. Why do the Muslims do what they do over there?
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Well, they feel their religion is being insulted or attacked. If it was logic and science, they wouldn't have to do those kind of things. You can discuss and argue and convince a person to become part of your religion. You wouldn't have to threaten them. You convince them. Christianity is not spread by force or coercion. Some religions are, and certainly some systems of government like communism and Nazism, they're spread by coercion, force. You don't agree with me, I'm going to kill you. Well, that's not what our country was designed to be, and that's not what Christianity is designed to be. So what makes me a good debater? I don't know. I'm passionate about the topic. I love the topic. I fill my head with the truth. I love the Lord. I love His Word. I don't think I am a good debater. I think I'm right and they're wrong. So it's real simple. Probably the gift God gave me is that He gave me the gift of teaching and thinking and operating about 4th grade level. That's where I live. So I can explain the complicated things to a 4th grader because that's where my mentality is. I have no intention of ever growing up. So this is me. Get used to it. All right, let me continue Tim's letter. He says, is there any advice you have on how I can get better at debating? Creation and evolution, or anything biblical in general. Well, Tim, that would be my only advice, is really study the topic. Know what you're talking about. Learn the topic. I don't think it's wise to waste a lot of time learning debate tactics. There are classes on how to debate and this kind of stuff. I've never taken any of those, and I'm not interested in that. I want to know the topic. I want to know the truth. I have heard, I don't know that it's true, but I've heard that when they bring in FBI agents to teach them to spot counterfeit money, they don't show them any counterfeit money. They show them the real thing. You study the real thing for 6 months and learn where every line is and every picture is and how the distance is and all, I don't know. When you study the real thing until you know it like the back of your hand, then it's easy to spot a counterfeit. If you started teaching them all the counterfeits, they would simply get confused. Just show them the real thing. Yes, that's same. Just study the Bible and you'll quickly spot the counterfeit religions. Okay, last sentence, he says, we cannot wait for you to get back to what you do best, but in the meantime, our prayers go to you and your family in Christ. Tim Bukowski, P.S. Strong believer in the canopy theory. Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate your prayers. That's what's going to get me out of here, Acts 12:5. And the canopy theory, I believe, is absolutely correct. There are some major creationist groups. I won't call any names, but they do not believe there was a canopy above the atmosphere before the creation. They are wrong, and I am right, of course. And I cover it in great detail why on a letter that I wrote to open letter to Tom Ish. Tom Ish is the editor of Creation Magazine in California. Fabulous magazine. I highly recommend it. Creation Illustrated.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Well, there was a man who worked with my son for several years, who I have never met, but he came from England and worked with my son Eric, and he wrote an article that Tom Ish published in the Creation Magazine against the canopy theory. He says, no, there is no canopy. I felt bad having to answer publicly, but they had already published it. So I wrote a public answer. I think it was February 2012. Rudy, maybe you can find it and link to it, but it should be one of the blogs that was on 2peter3.com. saying, here's my 8-page answer to why, yes, there was a canopy. It had to be for the following reasons, and why I'm sorry this poor guy had to, I think, try to split my son away from me on this issue. And Eric, I think, now is a believer in the canopy. I don't know. We've had a few discussions about it, but there's other things to talk about when I'm in prison, I guess. But anyway, yes, the canopy I cover in video number 2. Why did they live to be 900? Why did dinosaurs live on the earth? What was different about the world? So, Tim, thank you for your letter. That is a blessing. I wish you'd give me your address. So my advice to you would be put your return address on your next envelope, and I'd be thrilled to call you and talk to you if you'd like. Thank you, brother.